All right. Shalom, Israel. Shalom. Yahweh Shemi Hashah Brakathum to the brothers. Yahweh Shemar Ilathan by Shemi Hashah to the sisters. We are the Isupk, start out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding Jenny Hanna. Since 1969, we have bringing out the truth that the so-called blacks, so-called Hispanics, and so-called Native Americans are the true Israelites of the Bible. With that being said, today is the Lashawan Qadash class, and we will be going over the words with the letter H again. No, we're going through some more words with the letter H. With that being said, we're also going to go over the Hebrew alphabet. But before we go into that, definitely tune in to the Roundtable of Truth directly after this. It starts at 8 p.m. on all social medias. You can find them. You can find the Roundtable of Truth on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all major social medias. Definitely tune into that because they definitely got some top stories that are coming out today. So definitely like, share, subscribe, follow, however you can, to the Roundtable of Truth, Isupk Chicago, Isupk Chicago, Southern Illinois, and definitely tune into Isupk Chicago Sabbath service tomorrow that I believe starts at, I want to say 8 or 9. So I'm not too familiar with the time, but we got to keep the Sabbath holy, and that's very important for the week. You can do whatever you want 6 days out the week, but when it comes to that seventh day, and it's the Sabbath day, definitely go out your way to tune in to Isupk Chicago Sabbath service. I believe it'll probably be Officer Mayad, Officer Warrior, and definitely Officer Marai. They hold it down every week. They break it down into Hebrew. They break it down into they break it down from the Hebrew to the English, and then they describe the story as they read it going along. So that way you don't just be lost with how they're just reading it. So they'll go ahead and describe exactly what's happening moving forward in detail. So definitely tune into the Isupk Sabbath service tomorrow. It's very important for every Black, Hispanic, and Native to tune into that. Also the Roundtable Truth, like I said, we're going to go ahead and go into the alphabet right now. So right now I'm just going to go ahead and point them out. But before I do that, can everybody just take a screenshot of the board? I kind of like I got the whole board, so that way you can take a screenshot. That way maybe you can review it throughout the week. And then, as we go further with this lesson, I'll go ahead and show you how to sound out the letters, and how to describe them in your own way if you could. Just like we say, we know Hebrew is the first form of speech and calligraphy, which is the writing. So with that being said, knowing that it's our historical, biblical form of speech and writing, we definitely have to put this in our agenda to try to learn it moving forward. I know it's kind of difficult to do, but I feel like it's necessary to learn before, before the Lord takes you. Like this is actually authentic ancient Hebrew and authentic Assyrian Hebrew that we go over. All right, I hope everybody got that. So with that, we're gonna go ahead and go into the ancient Hebrew language alphabet. I'm just gonna sound it out. And every time we go over the Hebrew, it's from right to left, never from left to right. So we're gonna go from the beginning. A, ba, ga, da, ha, wa, za, ka, C-H-A-A, ka, ta, ya, ka. So when you see ka right here, it's ka, like Captain Kataza, or kapash. Captain Kaposh. And then when you got ka like this is ka and ka. Like Kanunya. We got a soldier in Milwaukee named Kanunya. So kind of like learn how to differentiate ka from ka. Ka, ka. All right, I'm gonna go back to the beginning. A, ba, ga, da, ha, wa, za, ka, ta, ya, ka, la, ma, na, sa, I, pa, taza, kwa, ra, sha, tha. And that's just me sounding them out so that way you know at least how to pronounce it properly. Because once you go ahead and start reading into the Tanakh, so when the brothers go over Sabbath service tomorrow, you know, we speak in the biblical form. We speak in from the Tanakh. So when the brothers are reading in that, everything's coming in the form of biblical authority, biblical sound. You know what I'm saying? And when you do that, you basically take how I want to put it. You basically put the authority back into it because it's the authentic speech of how brothers and sisters were doing it back in biblical times. And tell you, you can do whatever you want throughout the 6 days throughout the week. But when it's that Sabbath, everybody should be tuning into Sabbath service. Very important. Get these notes in you so that way you could at least follow along. Don't just think that it's gonna come to you. You know, it's not like that. You know what I'm saying? If you think you're that qualified to just absorb everything, it don't come that easy. You know, everything gotta be taught and everything gotta be reviewed and learned and went over in detail. So definitely, you know, tune into classes Monday through Friday. And then, you know what I'm saying, when the Sabbath comes, when Saturday comes, you definitely have to tune in because that's not negotiable right there. In the Most High's eyes, that's not negotiable. We have to be better than these Christian and Catholic churches where they go on the first day of the week. So definitely tune in to the Sabbath service and be better than all these Christians, Catholics out here who are doing things in the wrong way. You know, they were taught wrong. It's hard for them to come out of those strongholds because they're so used to it. It was family inherited and stuff, and we definitely have to do better than them. And with saying that, we also have to, when we having conversation with these folks in the world who aren't in the truth, who are not in the ISBK, we also have to be decent with them because they don't even know. You know, they think they're doing something right, but they're really not. So you don't really want to push them away. You want to go ahead and guide them in the right way. You know what I'm saying? And definitely show them how it's supposed to be done as opposed to how they're doing it at this moment. But definitely tune into the Sabbath service tomorrow. It's really important. That's the Lord's day, you know. Just, you know, if you could. So we basically sounded out the alphabet, right? Now I'm gonna go from the beginning to the end of the alphabet in the ancient Hebrew, in the ancient Hebrew, and this right here is the Assyrian. This is the original script. This is when we went into a captivity. So the Tanakh that I was just holding up is written in the Assyrian. But this is the original script right here. We're gonna go over it real quick. In fact, maybe I have to go a little closer, Salaki. Let me go a little closer. I'm trying to get the glare from the lights out of the way so everybody could tune in and actually enjoy the information properly. I'll move it back when we hit this lower portion right here, but we also got it right here. So if I have to lower it for a second, I'll go ahead and lower it for everybody to get the details right here. But is like a sideways A. Ba is like a triangle going into a G. Ga is like a slanted 7. Da in the form of a triangle. Ha is an F flipped with an extra line. So it's like a 3-line F flipped. You got Wa in a Y form. You got za that looks like a Z. You got ka that looks like a 3-step ladder. You know, some people got 3-step ladders in the house. You're more familiar with the term that I'm using right now. But definitely when I'm speaking not in the form of just men and women. I'm speaking in the form where even children could understand what exactly I'm saying, so that way they can identify this alphabet themselves also. So when I try to simplify it, I'm doing my best to simplify it, not for men and women, but also children, because we have to get them to understand this alphabet and this language moving forward. So ka is like a 3-step ladder. Then you got ta that looks like a circle with an X in it. You got ya looking like a slanted Z with a slight mark in the middle. So it's like a Z, boom, boom. And then you have like a little line right here in the middle. You got ka. Remember? Ka, C-H-A-A. Ka. Ka. Ka is like a inverted C or a flipped C with a V in the middle. Ka. La. It's like an L with not like, you don't even have to have like a point at the bottom. You just got to go ahead and you just swoop it in. Boom. Then you got ma. Ma is like a W form at the top going into a Y shape at the bottom. You got na, like a V shape going into a Y shape at the bottom. That's na. You got sa. You got a line going from top to bottom. Slightly from the top, you'll have a Z form. And then directly underneath it, you'll have a dash, a line going from left to right on that. You got I, looking like in the form of a circle. That's I. You got pa, looks similar to a J. You got a line going from left to right at the top, and a little bit from the right, you go ahead and swoop down into the J formation. Next one is taza. Taza is a line from top to bottom, and then a little bit from the top, you do the letter Z, and that right there will be taza. Then you got qua. You could call it an umbrella, you could call it a mushroom, whatever you want, but it's like a dome at the top. You know what I'm saying? A form of dome, and then from the top of the dome to the bottom, you have like a straight line directly in the middle. Then you got ra. Ra is like a similar to a flag a flag. Like say if you go to a baseball game or something like that, you'll see them. They'll have like flags or pennants. I don't know if women are gonna get that too well, because you know some watch sports, some don't. But a pennant is like similar to a triangle form and a line going from top to bottom. But that right there is ra. Then you got sha. Sha looks like in the form of a W. Then you got tha that looks like an X. The first line going from top to bottom is a long line hitting the bottom, but then right here it's elevated a little bit from left to right. So it's similar to an X, just with a little bit more form on it. A little bit written, a little bit different. All right. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead to the Assyrian Hebrew. It's written a little different. So I'm trying to make sure that I get everybody. All right. Slocky. Let's get it. All right. So right here, directly underneath, you got the alphabet right here. A, ba, ga, da, ha, wa, za, all the way to tha, right? From right to the left. Directly above it is the ancient Hebrew. Directly below it, a, ba, ga. Directly below it, a, ba, ga, da, ha. This is the Assyrian right below it. Directly below it. That's the letter directly below it. Boom. I hope you guys follow along. So looks like a capital N in English. Then you got ba. Ba looks like a 7 with a line underneath. You got Ga. To me, you know, it looks like a high heel, like a female high heel. You know what I'm saying? So that's how it looks. Then you got Da, looks like a 7. Then you got Ha, that looks like a 7 with a slight mark right here directly at the bottom right here. Then you got Y. Y looks like just like I always say every week, it looks like a stuck up 7. You know what I'm saying? Got his nose in the air. It's short form, and then it goes down. Then you got Ta. Ta will be in the form of like a short T. You got a little slight line at the top, and you got a line coming from the middle down. Then you got Ka. Ka is like a 7 right here, and then it's similar to Ha, except the line on the left side actually connects to the top. So it's similar to Ha, but it actually connects, giving you a whole different letter. You got Ta. Ta is in a U form. You just go from top to bottom, boom, and swoop it in with a little bit more form and definition. That'll be a Ta. You got Ya. Kind of looks like a comma, but this comma will be more surfaced in the air. You know what I'm saying? So this is not a comma going at the bottom or when you're writing. It's more of a Ya at the top, boom, boom. You know what I'm saying? Then you got Ka. Ka is in an inverted C form. Similar to the old way, but it's inverted C, which is a Ka. And then below it, you will have these letters, this form right here below, right underneath Ka, Ma, Na, Pa, and Taza. Use these letters if letters above fall at the end of a word. I'm gonna repeat it. Use these letters if letters above fall at the end of the word. So at the end of a word, if it ends with Ka, it will look like this. If it's in the beginning of the word, this is the form you'll take. So the top will be beginning form. This will be the bottom at the end of the word. It will be in this form right here. It will look like a 7. This same thing for Ma. Ma will look like kind of like a square M, like a square. It's Ma, but it look like a square. Boom. You know what I'm saying? With a little dash coming across the top. This one right here, Na, Pa, and Taza. We'll get to those. But so if any word in the Hebrew, in the Tanakh, start with this symbol right here, this letter, it's going to be Ka. But at the end of a word, if Ka is at the end of the word, it will look like that. Try not to get confused, because this one got like a long form right here, and this one right here has like a short form right there. Boom, boom. So it'll give it a whole different sound to that word at the end of the word if you're using these right here. So Ka look like a mirrored C, like an inverted C, and then at the end of the word looks like this 7 right here. Then you got La. La looks like a question mark to me. You know what I'm saying? Because you got where it comes from the top, and then it comes down in like in a question type form. So that's how I would identify that letter right there. Then you got Ma. Ma looks to me, and it could look to you also like a cursive S with a little dash at the top. That's Ma. If it starts at the beginning of the word, the letter will be written like this. If it's at the end of the word, Ma will have this form right here. I hope we understand. Then you got Na. Na looks like a short type C. You know what I'm saying? Boom, boom, boom. So that's Na. At the end of the word, if it ends with Na, it will look like this. Don't get confused with Na and Ka. They both look like 7s. One's a short 7. One looks like a short 7, which is Na. And then you have Ka, which is kind of like in the form of long type 7. But remember, these are at the end of a word. I I'll go over that every week. Next one is sa. Sa's like a circle going into like a little form at the top. You know what I'm saying? I would say it's like a peach form with the little pick at the top. Then you got I. I looks like a real deep Y. You know how usually a Y is boom, boom in English? No, this looks like a deeper type Y. You know what I'm saying? Right here also. So you just go real deep and swoop it down in the form of the Y. Then you got Pa. Pa's like a upside down G, if you want to call it. So boom, bam. But that's what you use at the beginning of the word if the word starts with Pa. So if you see this letter at the beginning of a word in the Tanakh, it's going to be Pa. At the end of a word, if this letter is at the end of the word and it looks like this, that's Pa also, but this will be at the end of the word. You'll never see this one at the end of the word. You will always see this form at the end of the word, and it's the same letter, Pa. Taza. Taza looks like a Y, but you have where it swoops down. Look, this is how you would do it if you were writing. This is more like printed to where it's perfect. This right here is more like if you written it yourself. So from the top left, you go straight down and swoop it to the side, and then you'll have the little Y formation at the top right there. And that right there is how you write Taza. At the end of a word, if Taza is at the end of the word, it will take this form right here. The same letter, but it will be written in this form. Beginning of the word, end of the word. Beginning of the word, end of the word. Beginning of the word, end of the word. And so on, like I said, just for these 5. Ka, Ma, Na, Pa, and Taza. Moving forward. Qua. Qua right here. It looks weird. It looks weird when you're looking at it because Qua looks like a little question mark right here with a line right there. If you write it, it looks in a similar of an R form. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of look like this. Kind of look like this. It's like an R form, but you just don't go all the way down like a regular R. You know what I'm saying? You just cut it on the bottom. You just cut it off, and that's how you will get your. That's how you get your Ra. This is how it would be like if it was printed like perfectly. But how you say like right here, that's how you would write it if you was writing it. But this right here is exactly how it would look in the Tanakh. It would look exactly like this because that's the printed form. So anytime we're reading the Tanakh, like I said on a Sabbath service, the brothers are reading it, this is how it's going to look at the top. So definitely try not to get confused. It's easy to get confused with the Hebrew language. Moving forward, next one we got is Ra. Ra looks like a 7 also. Boom, boom. No sharp turn at the top. You know what I'm saying? It's just a real smooth space going towards the bottom. Boom, boom. You got Sha. Sha in the form of like a W. So, you know what I'm saying? Like just so I can write it, just so you know, you'll have it like this. That's how you would write Sha, you know? Then next you got Tha. Tha. That's just like this. Boom. Boom. That's how you write Tha. It comes easier the more you go over it, the more you go ahead and practice it over and over again. It will get easier, but understand it doesn't come without you trying to do things the right way and actually learning, taking notes and going over your notes and trying to learn over and over and over again throughout the week. That way when you come across the Tanakh, you know how to follow along and you know how to pronounce words upon seeing them. That's why in this class right here, I will go over words rather than sentences, because if you don't know how to sound out a word, you can't formulate a sentence. And Salaki, this camera's like real This camera's like real zoomed in. So I try to give you the best case scenario on going over this and getting the whole detail of the alphabet. So that's why I kind of like put more reference on to the board rather than my face. All right, with that, we're gonna move forward. Slack it for the glare, you know what I'm saying? Like the glare of the lights and stuff. I'm trying to find a specific angle where it won't, you know, hinder us from learning properly. You know what I'm saying? God damn, I hate the glares. All right, so that's the alphabet, right? Now we're gonna go over words with the letter H that we haven't went over. Those who've been tuning in, the last few weeks know that we've been going over the letter H, words in the letter H. So now we're gonna continue. The first word I'm gonna go over is home. All right. I'm gonna try to put them more further down, like right here, because I see a glare on the screen, so I don't want anybody to like miss out. So we're gonna do a home, right? Home. So this will be like the English. Home. This will be like the pronunciation. If my writing is horrible, I apologize. You know, I got a distinct writing that's not as perfect as others. And we'll put right here the ancient. Boom. If anybody needs the Assyrian, just let me know in the comments. So home, that'll be in English right here, right? Then the pronunciation, let me do this right here. So that way everybody can see where the divider lays. You know what I'm saying? So home, how you pronounce it is Bayatha. Let me see. Ba, ya, tha. Anytime you write it in Hebrew, make sure you are writing in capital letters. Nothing is in lowercase form like in English. Everything is in uppercase. Ba, ya, tha. And if you could, say it over and over again to yourself. Home is ba, ya, tha. Ba, ya, tha. So I'm going to write in the ancient right here. Boom. All right. And that's ba ya tha. And since you see, we have the full letter of it, ba ya tha. Right here, the connectors go directly underneath all of them. Because you sound out every single letter of that word. Sometimes we'll knock off an A. Sometimes we'll have to knock off an A, but this time we don't. So at this time, home is ba ya tha. And for the letters, we have ba ya tha in the ancient, but we don't have any type of connectors going overlapping with each other. So this takes the form of the whole sound of this takes the whole sound of the letters. Ba ya tha. I hope everybody can see that. Put that in your notes. That way you know how to say home. Next word is gonna be honey. You know, everybody loves honey. Like say like when I like peanut butter sandwiches, a lot of times I like to put a little bit of honey on it. So honey, honey. And how you say honey in Hebrew is dabash. Da. Ba. Da. Bash. See how it connects? This word right here, home, you'll pronounce every single letter. It has no connectors. Ba ya tha. And honey, you got da, bash. No, you got to connect it to it. Ba and sha connects, right? So let me go ahead and write in the ancient. Da. Here's what I'm talking about right here. That's da, right? From the alphabet that we just went over. So you got da, and then you got ba, connecting to sha. That's what the connector right there. Goes from one to the other. Da, da, ba, ba. And then you got sha, you take the A off. So, dabash. Dabash means honey. And these are simple words with the letter H that I definitely want to go over, so that way, the only way later on I could go into sentences with everybody is if I could actually go into just regular words, you know what I'm saying? That way we know exactly how to pronounce them. That way we know how to write them. That way in your free time, if you're going over these classes, you can always go over and over and over again. And if there's something that you really want confirmation on, like a word or anything, just put in the comments so that way I can go ahead and write it down, put it in my notes, and I'll go review it for the week, and I could go ahead and do it for next week. If I don't know it this week, I definitely could do it for you next week. But definitely, if there's anything that you guys need, a word or anything, just let me know, and I can go ahead and review it and provide it to you next week. Slap. All right. With that, I hope everybody got that. I'm about to write two more words up on here. I apologize if I go a little bit faster than usual, but I definitely want to go ahead and make sure that everybody is getting the notes and they're getting all the words that I could possibly provide them with. So these are coming down. All right, we're gonna go over two more words. I hope everybody got those two. If not, in your free time, go back over this video, rewind it, and go back over it, you know what I'm saying? But I do gotta move on for everybody. All right, next word we're gonna go over is hook. Whenever you go fishing, you got a hook where you gotta put your lure on, which is your bait. So we're gonna go ahead and go over a hook. Hook. And the way you pronounce hook is wah-wah. Wah. Wah. Boom. Hook in Hebrew is wah-wah. And how do you write wah-wah? All right. Remember, from right to left. That's how you write wah-wah. Because you sound out the whole letter. Wah, 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 wah. It should be simple, but just like I said, it's not our dominant speech at this moment. But definitely we have to go ahead implement, our Hebrew into our learning. You can't know English without learning your biblical form of speaking. And just in case anybody didn't know, if you got this, is how it will be in a Syrian. Wow. Remember, these will be at the top. You know what I'm saying? It will never be it's like a comma, but in the air. That's wah. So if you see it in the Tanakh, that's how it will be in the ancient. This is how it will be in a Syrian right there. I just wrote it for you real quick, just to give you guys a little example. I'm not gonna leave it up there because I got another word right there. It's coming. All right. Moving forward. House. Everybody knows what house is, so I ain't gotta go ahead and give a description. Even if you live in an apartment, it's in a house, House. Now, how you say house in Hebrew? Bayath. Bayath. Yath. Bayath. Now I'm gonna leave it like that because usually I go ahead and put exactly how to sound it out, but I want you to learn how to sound it out because I already know how to do it. Bayath. Now you got to figure out where the connectors are for it. So house in English is Bayath in the Hebrew. So with saying that, now you got to find out where the connectors lie. Bayath. Is there connectors? Is there not connectors? I'm going to write in the Hebrew real quick. All right. Now, English, how it's pronounced in the ancient Hebrew, and this is how it's written in ancient Hebrew. But where are the connectors? I can put them up there, but hopefully at home you guys are paying attention, so that way we can go ahead and do this together. So when you look at Bayath, you got Ba, right? You got Ba right here. You got Ba right here. You see it's the whole letter, right? So you know this is together, Ba. So you're gonna go ahead and put a connector right at the bottom of that one, Ba. You sound the whole letter of that one. Then you got Ya, right? But then you got Tha without the A. You remember? Tha is usually THA. If you look over your alphabet, Tha is usually THA. Remember, when it's got a connector, you wipe that last letter off of that. And when you got that, you know that this is connected. You got Ba Yath, which means is Ya right here is going to connect to Tha. Bayath. And that's home. Hey, usually we got a whole bunch of people tuning in. Ain't nobody tuning in today? Y'all out there partying? Y'all need to start partying and come in here and learn this Hebrew language. I'm gonna leave it up there for a few more seconds for the young ones, and then I'm gonna go over 2 more, and then possibly I could go ahead and go into words with the letter I. So that's it. That's it for these right here. On. I hope I gave you enough time. If not, just like I told you, go back over this video and write it over or review it again. Sometimes I'll give you the answer, sometimes I'll make you earn the answer. But, you know, I wouldn't be a good teacher if I just continuously give you the answer over and over again. Next one is how. H-O-O-W. Like, how could you leave that milk out there? Or how come you didn't throw out that garbage? You know, or you know, however, but that's how. H-O-W. How in Hebrew is ayak. Ayak. Just like I said, I'm not always going to give you, I'll pronounce it to you, but you got to go ahead and find out where the connectors are, if there's connectors. Ayak. Okay, this is how we know. How in the English, ayak, how it's pronounced in the ancient Hebrew, and this is how it's written in the ancient Hebrew from right to left. Ayak. Ayak. Because you got the A, takes the full alphabet right there, A-H. Then you got Ya, and you know you got K. But where's the A at? You remember? Because it would have been Ayak. But how in the Hebrew is pronounced Ayak. You got A, Ya, with the connector, Yak, Ayak. I hope everybody got that. I'm trying to move through. Definitely go over your alphabet, because whenever you go over your alphabet, it'll help you learn how to pronounce these words a little bit better all the time, because you know the sound of this, you know the sound of that. And just like I said, follow along with us tomorrow for the Sabbath service. I believe it's at 8 or 9 a.m. Tune into the Isupk Chicago Sabbath service, because that is the only time that you're supposed to spend your Sabbath, you know, learning the ancient speaking, hearing the ancient speaking, and then also getting the story in English, so that way the brothers can break it down for you. But with that, that's how you want to spend your Sabbath. You know what I'm saying? You can do whatever you want 6 days out the week, from Sunday to Friday. When it comes to Saturday, that's the Lord's day. You're supposed to take your own time and give it to the Lord for that day. It could be you come into the Isupk Chicago school, or you could tune in. But you definitely have to participate. It's not about you for that one day. It's about the Lord. So all I can do is relay the message, but I definitely want you guys to go ahead and do the right thing on your own. So next one we're going to go over is hungry. 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 If you got kids, they're always hungry. They're never full. They're always hungry or thirsty. But right now we're dealing with hungry. I know that for a fact. Every time I turn around, they're always hungry. And every time they're hungry, they make me eat. All right, so how you pronounce that in ancient Hebrew? Okay. Hungry is ra'ib. 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 All right. So hungry in English, how you pronounce it or say it in the Hebrew is ra'ib. Ra'ib. And in the ancient, this is how it's spelled. Ra'ib. So as you're writing this right here, and learning words in your free time, go back to, that's why I put it on the board earlier where you could just take a screenshot of just the Hebrew, the ancient Hebrew and the Syrian Hebrew. So now we could just go over how to write it yourself. A lot of times, take me out the equation. Be like, hungry, okay, it's ra'ib. How do I write it? Like, take this off and try to write it yourself. Remember where the connectors are. Remember how to pronounce the word. It's English is easy for you because that's the oppressive language that we took at this moment. But then you got the ancient Hebrew to where you're like, okay, hungry is ra'ib. How do I write that again? Okay, so now let me go to my Hebrew alphabet, and now all of a sudden you start picking it apart. Now all of a sudden you're learning. You're not learning because what I taught you. You're learning because you're taking the initiative to go out there and, learn it yourself or better yourself. I give you the tools so you can build. I can't do the building for you. I got to make sure I give you every type of tool so that way you can build up yourself. I could help you build, but you definitely got to take the initiative and do it on your own also. So we got how, which is ayak. We got hungry, which is ra'ib. Ra'ib in Hebrew, from right to left. All right. I hope everybody got that. Go ahead and scratch these off. Bam, bam. And like I said, if there's any words that you want me to go over personally just for you, you put in the comments how do you say sleep, or how do you say any type of word you want. You know what I'm saying? I'm not just gonna throw words out there, but you just go ahead and fill me in with what you want to learn, and I'll go ahead and do my, if I know it, I'll tell you right then and there. If I have to do research on it, I'll make sure I do research on it, because anytime I'm teaching, I want to make sure that I'm giving you the most accurate and precise way of writing it. I'm not just gonna say something and not do my research or my studies on it. You let me know what you want, and I'll go ahead and work it out for you. If I can do it that day, I'll do it that day. If I tell you I need time, I'll go ahead and research it, and I'll give it to you the following week. But I will always get back to you. As a teacher, that's what I do. As students, you're supposed to ask of me, and in return, I'm supposed to give to you. That's how it works. You know what I'm saying? It's a give and take between teacher and students. Even if I don't know, I'll go ahead to men that I value their opinion when it comes to the ancient Hebrew or the Syrian Hebrew. I'll go to an officer of warrior. I'll go to an officer of Mayad. I'll go to an officer of Marai. There's brothers who I could go to that if I don't know something personally, I know that there's qualified brothers above me who've been there, done that, and they can walk me through it. So just like I teach you, it ain't like that I know these things off the top of my head. I go to these brothers for guidance also. So you come to me, and if I don't know something, I go to them, because I would never want to fill you in on something that is not accurate. And that's how I hold myself to a strong integrity with everybody who is viewing these classes. I don't just do it because it's what I want. I don't just want to do it just to do it. I want to do it in the best way I could for you. So when I'm taking my time out here and try to teach, trust me, I'm doing it with my best intentions to do it the right way, and with all type of research that I'm doing to provide you with everything that's as accurate as possible. I'll go to brothers who are way above me. Hey, how you do this? How you do that? And then when they fill me in with the information, and I go ahead and they break it down to me, I'll get it, and then I'll come back and bring it to you. But understand, I would never give a lesson on something if I don't understand it myself. So everything that we go over, this is the main thing right here. If you cannot pronounce the alphabet, if you can't even identify the alphabet, words are going to be difficult. And if words are difficult, you can't formulate a sentence. It's just like how when you're in regular school and Esau's school system and kids are learning alphabet and then they go into words and then they'll go into sentences. Then all of a sudden when you go into the sentences, now you got to go ahead and break down the sentence that you're reading. It's called reading comprehension. I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible because just like I said, this is a language that is not accustomed to us today. But biblically, this is how we spoke. This is how we wrote. And we're taking it back. It looks different to everybody because this is not what you deal with on a daily basis. But this is something that's ours that we should be implementing in our current studies as men, women, and children. So with that moving forward, it's like I'm going to go ahead and take off this H. We went through some words with the letter H. Now we're going to go through some letters with the letter I. All right? So just going off the top, say if I'm gonna go with the I. Like I wanna go to the Bulls game. I wanna go to the store. I wanna eat those chips. I. That's what we're using right now. I. You as an individual. I. So this is how it will be spelled in the ancient. This is how you will say it. This is how you will pronounce it in the ancient. On. Yeah. On. Yeah. All right. Boom. On. Yeah. All right. I right here that you will pronounce in English. In Hebrew is anya. And then in Hebrew, anya. So where are the connectors right here? Is there connectors? I hope y'all aren't waiting for me to get an answer all the time. Anya. That's how it will be. So anya. So the connectors at the beginning in this one, because we knocked off the H, used to be AH, I. But we knocked off the H, and we knocked off the A at the, so you got anya. That's how you spell it. Next one is ice. Ice. This is how you. Galayar. Ga. La. Galayar. All right, so ice in English is ga la yad. Ga la yad. That's how you pronounce it. You got ga, then you got la, then you got yad, connected. Ga, ga. La, la. Yad, yad. And galayad is ice. All right, so these are the words that I put for this week. I hope everybody goes over the alphabet, because that's real important. Just like I always reiterate every week, definitely get yourself your Hebrew Tanakh. And when you open the Hebrew Tanakh, it's not open like this. It's open from right to left. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and close out the class right now. Definitely tune in to the Round Table of Truth on every platform. Get everybody else into watching the Round Table of Truth. They bring out a lot of stories that are specifically for so-called blacks, Hispanics, and natives, and they get into details and scriptures on things that are plaguing us as the true Israelites of the Bible. So with that, I want to go ahead and say shalom. The water for hanging out with me today on this day and stuff. And if there's any time you need to learn like a specific word in the Hebrew, you can always just comment and just let me know exactly what the word is, and I'll go ahead and do my research, and I'll go ahead and provide it with you either that day or the following week. But everything I do, as I say every week, I do it accurately. I do it with all my best intentions out here. I'm trying to build, our people up with all the information I could when it comes to this Lashawan Qadash, or the Holy Tongue. It's not easy, but everybody has to go ahead and put their own efforts in to better themselves. That way you can better everybody else around you. Also, we have classes for Isupk Chicago all week. So definitely tune into Isupk Chicago, Isupk Southern Illinois, Isupk Rockford, and definitely tune in next week on Friday at around 6 p.m. Isupk Chicago. So that way we can go ahead and go over some more words for this Lashawan Qadash. That way we go ahead and raise up more men, women, and children with our ancient biblical learnings. And if anybody has any questions, just always put it inside the comments. I'm always going to go ahead and engage with y'all. I do this for you. I don't do this for myself. I don't do this for any type of praise. I do this because I love my people. If you are black, Hispanic, Native, I do this for you. I do this for the men, the women, and the children. I don't do this for any type of boasting or for myself or anything like that. I come humbly just for my people to learn more about their biblical, our biblical ways and traditions. Also, definitely, like I said earlier, I reiterated 2 times, definitely tune in tomorrow at 8 or 9 a.m. for the Sabbath service. That's the only day the Lord told you to come and listen to this is the Lord's day. This is the only time he told you to come and congregate with your brothers, whether it be in person or online. We definitely need you to tune in and get others who are so-called black, Hispanic, and Native to tune in to our Sabbath service tomorrow. So that way we can build our men, women, and children up the right way and get them out of these Christian, Catholic churches, these Islam mosques. That way we can take back our own identity. With that, our priest and officer of 500, Azan Yala, the water for hanging out with me. Shalom Yahal Ba'Hashem Yahshua, Brakathum to the brothers. Yahal Shamar Ilathan Ba'Hashem Yahshua to the sisters. And I'll see y'all next week. The water.